What's going on, lads? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to part 2 of the rarest cards in eFootball history. Now, if you've missed the first episode in this, go back and check it out. And also, I did ask and ye did deliver. I was bombarded with suggestions for cards that I missed in part 1. So we're going to jump straight into it. Thanks for everybody for getting involved. Let's roll it. So we're going to start here very simply with a beast, Sergio Ramos. Now, there's been a couple of Sergio Ramos cards that have actually released in the game, but this card for me is one of the rarer ones, right? I know that there was a Sevilla one as well, but this Ramos card is very decent, boys. He's very decent, as you can see. Here he still has his face scan, and if they are going to bring out a legend, I mean, they already have his card kind of here, but yeah, a very solid card and kind of a forgotten card that people are still asking for legends, but you know, some people still have him, such as me. Also, we have to talk about Ansu Fati. So at the start, when Konami started to introduce these cards, right, these were the signed signature cards. That's what they were called. You had Messi, you had Neymar, which a lot of people copped, right? But Ansu Fati was definitely one that a lot of people did not sign, and he is joined in there by Marcelo, who's next up. Again, one of the rarer cards. I actually had forgotten about this card until Ron had told me about it. I actually don't think I've ever seen somebody play against me with this card. And I've played thousands of games, but I could be wrong. Maybe it's a card that people use, but you know, anytime that you're talking about a left back, you'd never really think of him. Next up, we have Ryan Giggs, right? So we're going a little bit further afield here. We're going to check one of the databases for the next two cards. First up is Ryan Giggs, and he is like a card that I don't think I've seen Giggs or come up against Giggs ever in eFootball. Also, we have Paul Gascoigne, right? So Paul Gascoigne was part of this pack with two very rare cards as well. It was Robbie Keane from Spurs and Van der Vaart. But this Paul Gascoigne that you're seeing here, another very interesting card and quite a beast. Like, apart from missing out on 85 speed, which you can actually train him a little differently, this guy was an absolute tank if you did his dribbling right. And then rounding off page 1 of this, we have the monster himself, the Cookie Monster, Pepe. Again, another card that I had from years ago, right? He still has this face scan, and I think that Pepe is ripe, genuinely. He is ripe for a legend card. A lot of these cards I'm showing you, it would take very little effort. So I feel like the cards at the moment in the game, right, that we're getting now, it's kind of easy to forget that we have a lot of older legends, right? Which brings us on to this. I'm going to go through this very quickly and just throw a lot at you. I don't want to spend ages on this video, but this is page 2 of part 2, and it is 6 classic legend cards, including that ill-fated Kai Havertz card, which we'll get to in a second, Arshavin, Pato, and Sol Campbell. All of these cards have faces. Also, the 2 Percassis. So this was when Konami actually made these cards available as part of the partnership that they had with these players, right? Now, obviously, you've got Luca Percassi, which was the son, and you also have the father as well for another father and son duo. We have the Maldinis, we have the Turams, we've got a lot of legends and players that link up, right? But these 2 cards were actually made available, I think, for free. I do have them. This is my profile that you're seeing here. They're probably 2 cards that, again, like Giggs and Gascoigne, I've never really seen these cards, right? It was when they signed the partnership with Atalanta, and obviously they are involved in the board, especially Antonio. I think he's the chairman. I should have researched that before I said it, but I think he's like, yeah, the chairman or the CEO or something, or the president of Atalanta. So obviously when they signed the partnership, this was part of it, that they got him in. These cards were not great stat-wise and all their levels, but their skills were insane, right? And then, of course, we had Kai Havertz. I mean, they changed this card slightly. I think it was a shocking design, really, when you look at it there. But who remembers these cards? Any of these cards you want me to go into in a little bit more detail? We're just getting through a few. Now, moving on to page 3, because there was so many suggestions for Benzema. This French version of Benzema, I didn't think he was that much of a beast. I know his stats are pretty decent, but it is a rare card. He was an old school with the French pack, one of the France premium packs. He's joined by old school Pirlo. Now, this Pirlo could go to, like, I think it was like 100 and, yeah, it was a very high card, right? He was a beast, right? But also, I want to focus on these batch players. You've got Maradona, Filippo, and Inzaghi. These were all the old carryover legends. So if you never played eFootball 22, 23, 24, you would have never got these. And who can actually tell me where this Raul came from? If you guys can let me know in the comments, that is a bit of trivia for you guys today. Where did this Raul come from that you're seeing here? Because that is definitely one of the rarest cards in the game. If not, probably top 10 rarest cards if you have this card. Moving on, we'll have a look at Maradona. In this build here that you see of Maradona, very, very solid, classic number 10, was one of the kind of old school goated cards. Very, very nice card to have there. I actually really like Maradona in the game, but I just don't play with him enough. And as I said about this Raul card, if you can let me know where that card came from, it would be very impressive, and how you actually got him, right? We also are going to end with Gareth Barry and one special player as well. This Gareth Barry, shout out to Egyptino and Brixia, they sent me on a couple of these. All of you guys, literally I was bombarded with messages. This Gareth Barry, I have never really seen this card. I don't think I've ever played against him. And you kind of forget that Gareth Barry was a legend, a carryover legend. You know, we had Sol Campbell, we had a couple of those guys like Gascoigne that haven't really appeared again. Giggs is another one. And then ending it with Bicycle Kick, Player of the Week, Alejandro Garnacho. This is a very rare card because you only had a chance of getting him. You couldn't spin for him and clear the pack or anything. Any of the Player of the Weeks are going to be automatically, you know, very, very rare. This Alejandro Garnacho card was extremely rare at the time. I remember I got him on one profile, but on 3 or 4 other profiles I didn't. Let me know if you have him. Let me know if you have any of the cards here that you're seeing on screen. That's just a roundup of all the video that we've done so far, the previous video, this video, all the cards. Let me know if you like this. Would you like a part 3?